Good evening. Tonight we begin with a sound that defined a generation of talent competitions. In 2023, a 13-year-old boy stood on a stage in London and did something few humans can achieve. He silenced a room of thousands with a single breath. Wasn't just another contestant. He was a treble, a biological ticking clock of musical perfection. When hit that golden buzzer, he wasn't just rewarding a performance, he was capturing lightning in a bottle. But as any vocal historian in the United States will tell you, the higher the climb, the more inevitable the descent. For centuries, the boy soprano has been a fleeting miracle, a voice that exists only in the narrow window before biology intervenes. In the US, where we've seen child stars like Justin and Donnie navigate the treacherous waters of puberty, the stakes for a classical singer are exponentially higher. For the angel persona was built on a foundation of high and effortless head voice. But as 2023 turned to 2024, the industry began to whisper, how long could the miracle last? Tonight, we look back at that initial spark, not just as a moment of triumph, but as the starting line for a physiological race against time. The American audience, known for its obsession with the comeback, watched from across the Atlantic, wondering if this British prodigy would vanish into the where are they now file, or if he would emerge as something entirely new. To understand the 2026, we must first reconcile with the ghost of the boy who once sang for the heavens, knowing even then that the earth was calling him back down to a lower register. In the world of professional opera and classical crossover, there is a phenomenon known as the wall. It is the moment when the larynx begins its inevitable descent, the vocal folds thicken, and the effortless treble notes that once soared over orchestras begin to crack, strain, and eventually disappear. For entering 2026 meant facing this biological reality head-on. In our investigations into the US talent market, we've seen hundreds of golden buzzer winners fade into obscurity the moment their gimmick, their youth expired. But situation was different. He wasn't just a kid who could sing, he was a technician. However, no amount of technique can stop the testosterone-driven transformation of the human throat. In late 2024 and throughout 2025, largely stepped away from the public eye. Our sources in the London and New York classical circuits suggest this was a tactical vocal hibernation. While the American public was busy following the latest pop trends, was in the shed, working with world-class vocal coaches to navigate the most dangerous period of his career. The shocking element of this evolution isn't just that his voice changed, that's puberty. The shock is the precision with which he managed the transition. Most child stars experience a public cracking of the voice, a humiliating series of missed notes and tabloid headlines. However, chose a different path. He chose silence, retraining his muscles to handle a weightier, darker timbre. As we move into the 2026 data, we see the results of this discipline. He didn't just lose a high voice, he gained a foundation. The golden buzzer star didn't break, he recalibrated. March 2026. The lights dim at the Lincoln Center in New York. The audience, many of whom flew in specifically to see if the BGT angel still had his wings, sits in a tense, expectant silence. When finally takes the stage, the visual change is the first thing that hits you. He's taller, broader, a young man standing where a boy once stood. But then he opens his mouth. The sound that emerges isn't the piercing, crystalline soprano of 2023. It is a rich, resonant baritone tenor hybrid. The shocking evolution we've been tracking has reached its zenith. For the American listener, this is the moment of truth. In our culture, we value the new, and two is exactly that. Vocal analysts have noted that his lower register now possesses a vibrato that was physically impossible 3 years ago. He is no longer singing at the notes, he is inhabiting them. The technical term for this is vocal settling, but for the fans who propelled him to viral fame, it feels like a resurrection. We spoke with several vocal coaches in Los Angeles who reviewed his latest 2026 recordings. Their consensus: he has bypassed the awkward phase entirely. This isn't just a singer who survived puberty. This is a singer who used puberty as an instrument. The 2026 sound is darker, more soulful, and carries a weight of experience that his 13-year-old self could only mimic. It is the sound of a golden buzzer star who refused to be a one-hit wonder, proving that while the boy is gone, the artist is very much alive. To the casual observer, a voice change is simply a deeper tone, but for a classical athlete like, it is a structural demolition and reconstruction. As we report in 2026, we've consulted with top otolaryngologists at the school in New York. They describe the vocal break not as a failure but as an expansion. The vocal folds thicken by nearly 10 millimeters and the larynx, the voice box, dropped significantly. For this meant his golden range of 2023 was literally being physically altered from the inside out. In this investigative segment, we look at the transition period of 2024-2025. Many U.S. child stars from the Disney era to the present have been forced to sing through this change, leading to permanent vocal scarring. But our reporting shows that team, including mentors from the Royal Opera House, treated his voice like a high-performance engine. They grounded him, while the internet was filled with "where is he?" rumors was undergoing laryngeal reprogramming. This isn't just news, it's in career preservation. By 2026, he hasn't just found a new voice, he has built a resilient adult instrument that can withstand the rigors of a multi-city U.S. tour. The shocking part, most singers lose their agility when they gain depth, has somehow kept both. It is a biological anomaly that has the American medical and musical community taking notes. We are seeing a voice that didn't just break, it upgraded. You cannot tell the story of without mentioning the man who walked this path 40 years ago. Ale Jones, the original Walking in the Air star, has become a mentor too, but in 2026, the student has arguably surpassed the master's trajectory. For decades, the curse of the boy soprano was a standard trope in the music industry. A child is celebrated, his voice breaks, and he is discarded. In our interview with industry insiders, we've learned that the 2026 strategy was designed specifically to avoid the Jones trap. In the USA, we saw this with the bop era and other youth-centric sensations. The difference here is the genre shift isn't trying to be a boy soprano in a man's body. He is embracing the crossover tenor market. Our data shows that his 2026 streaming numbers on platforms like Apple Music in the US have shifted from relaxing classical to dramatic cinematic. He is no longer competing with choir boys. He is competing with Josh, and this transition from a British novelty to a global powerhouse is what makes his 2026 evolution so critical. He is the first child star of the social media age to successfully navigate a classical voice break while maintaining a top 40 presence on the Billboard classical charts. The shadow of the past is long, but as we see take the stage in 2026, he is stepping into his own light. In late 2023, the world saw his name on the soundtrack of the Hollywood blockbuster Maestro. But in 2026, the Maestro effect has taken on a new meaning. This wasn't just a gig, it was introduction to the American elite. Working with Steven Spielberg and Martin as producers gave him a level of Hollywood armor that most BGT stars never receive. In this 2026 deep dive, we uncover how that experience influenced his mature sound. Sources close to the production tell us that being around's legacy taught about gravitas. When you listen to his 2026 rendition of a song famously mastered by, you don't hear a kid trying to sound like a man. You hear a singer who has been mentored by the giants of the film and music industry. This connection to the US film market has ensured that his voice change was met with curiosity rather than dismissal. For the American audience isn't just a BGT winner, he is the voice from Maestro. This distinction has allowed him to headline at the Hollywood Bowl in 2026, a feat unheard of for a 16-year-old classical singer from London. The shocking evolution is as much about his brand as it is about his biology. He has transitioned from a contestant to a colossus of the crossover world. To thrive in 2026, a golden buzzer star must be more than a voice. They must be a multi-platform architect. Our investigation into his digital footprint reveals a calculated shift in late 2025. While many child stars lose their following when their cute factor expires, his team leveraged the 2026 TikTok YouTube live audio trends to demystify his voice change. Instead of hiding the transition, he documented it. We've analyzed viral clips from early 2026 where interacts directly with his American, performing vocal check-in short, unedited clips of him practicing his new baritone scales. This vulnerability marketing has created a deep parasocial bond with the USA audience, who feel they have raised him through the screen. In a world of AI-generated music, his raw physical struggle with his changing biology became his greatest asset. Our data shows that his engagement rates among Gen Z and millennials in the US spiked when he shared the cracked notes, the moments where the evolution was messy. By being authentic about the change, he bypassed the polished pop star fatigue that many child actors face. The 2026 algorithm favors the human, and his voice change was the ultimate human story. He didn't just survive the social media transition. He used it to build a fortress around his new identity, ensuring that by the time he hit the high notes in his 2026 US tour, his audience was already rooting for his success as if it were their own. The true litmus test for any British export is the United States Billboard chart. In 2026, achieved what many thought impossible for a classical-trained teenager. He cracked the top 40 crossover charts. This wasn't by accident. Our investigation uncovers a series of high-level collaborations with US producers that blended his new, richer vocal timbre with cinematic, hands production. By early 2026, sound was no longer relegated to the classical section of record stores. It was being played on epic music playlists and featured in major US film trailers. We spoke with a leading A&R executive in Hollywood who noted that the of 2026 is the bridge between the opera house and the movie theater. This strategic move into the epic crossover genre has allowed him to tap into the massive US market for gaming soundtracks and cinematic scores. His voice, once a light treble, now possesses the theatrical weight required for the dark, moody ballads that dominate the 2026 aesthetic. This shift from British novelty to American chart topper is the defining business achievement of his career. He has proven that a voice change isn't an ending. It's a rebranding opportunity that, if handled with precision, can lead to the biggest stages in the world, from the Hollywood Bowl to the Metropolitan Opera. As we look at the trajectory of in 2026, the question is no longer can he sing, but how far can he go? He has moved beyond the shadow of the golden buzzer. In our final analysis, we see a young man who has become a mentor himself, often seen in 2026 backstage at talent shows, encouraging the next generation of child performers. His legacy is one of resilience. In the US, where child stardom often leads to a cycle of burnout and public struggle, has provided a new blueprint. He has shown that with the right guidance, vocal rest, and a willingness to evolve, the child prodigy can become the adult master. His 2026 album, which features a blend of his mature baritone and archival recordings of his treble voice, has become a bestseller in the US, symbolizing the bridge between who he was and who he has become. The shocking evolution is complete. Is no longer just a boy who sang for. He is a 16-year-old titan of the classical world, standing at the precipice of a lifelong career. For the audience in the USA, he represents the ultimate success story. A talent that didn't just survive the spotlight, but learned to shine even brighter as the years passed. We conclude our investigative report tonight with a final thought on the nature of the voice. In our journey through 2026 evolution, we discovered that the term voice break is a misnomer, for nothing broke, it only expanded. It took courage for a 13-year-old boy to step onto a stage in 2023, but it took a different kind of strength for a 16-year-old man to step back into that same spotlight in 2026, knowing the world was waiting for him to fail. Our investigation has shown that the shocking part of this story isn't the science, the fame, or the Hollywood movies. It is the character of the artist. Has navigated the most difficult transition in the world of music with a grace that is rarely seen in the 21st century. As he prepares for his 2026 world tour, starting in New York and ending in Tokyo, he carries with him the hopes of every young singer who fears the day their voice will change. He is the living proof that change is not a threat, it is an invitation. The golden buzzer may have started the fire, but its own dedication has kept it burning. Tonight, as we listen to the rich, resonant tones of the 2026, we aren't just hearing a singer, we are hearing a survivor. The angel of Britain's Got Talent has grown up, and in doing so, he has given the world a new song to sing. Good night.